Welcome to Westside's virtual painting class for October. This month we will be painting witchy feet. So, in order to paint witchy feet today, you're going to need to pick up your virtual painting to go kit here at Westside Library. We are now open to the public. You can come in the building. So when you get here, just come up to the circulation desk and ask one of the staff members for an adult painting kit, and you'll get all the materials you need except for your paintbrushes. Those you need to get yourself. So, what comes in the kit? You will get your canvas, a outline drawing of the witchy feet, a piece of carbon paper which we will actually use to trace the witch feet onto the canvas, the paint you need in these nice little cups. Now the paint colors you're going to get a dark green, a lighter green, white, black, a purple, a hot pink, and yellow. You will also get a toothbrush for splatter painting. Now, for what don't you get? You are going to need newspaper, a cup of water, paper towel, a pencil, and your paintbrushes. For this month, you're going to need a large paintbrush to paint your background. The one I'm using is a 3/4 flat. You are going to need a size 8 filbert. Filbert is a flat brush with kind of a rounded edge. It looks like an eyeshadow brush. If you don't have a filbert in your paintbrush collection, a 8-inch flat will work too. And a small liner brush. I'm using a size 2. You can also use a size 1 or 3. Just a small liner brush. What size you like, that's up to you since you're painting at home. Also, if you find that the size 8 is a little too big to do some of the areas, size 3 or 4 flat or filbert is a good size to fill in. All right, let's get painting. All right, so for painting, the first color we will use is the hot pink. You're going to want to wet your brush, not sopping wet, just damp, and then load some pink on your brush and start painting. What it is that we want a washed out effect. If you see, it's kind of a faded look, and that's what you'll get when you paint on your canvas with a wet brush. Remember, you want to keep your paint strokes going in one way. When your paint starts to pull, it is time to reload your brush. Okay, once we get our canvas completely done, we just want to even out any brush strokes. Now, in your kit, you get what is called a board canvas. It's completely flat. I'm using a stretch canvas today, so I'll going around and painting my edges. Anytime you use a stretch canvas, you always want to make sure you get your edges. That's a step you get to skip if you use a board canvas. And try not to drop the canvas on yourself if you're doing this at home. All right, so all right, so my canvas is dry. In order to go to the next step where you actually draw your witchy feet on the canvas, your canvas needs to be completely dry. You can either do this by letting it air dry, just take a break for 10-15 minutes, let your paint dry, or you can break out the hairdryer and dry it immediately. So once you have your dry canvas, you are going to take your carbon paper and lay it down on your canvas, shiny side down, and then put the photocopy of the witchy feet on top of the carbon paper. You want the bottom legs of the cauldron to be down almost to the edge of the canvas. All right, so once you have your drawing placed where you want it on the canvas, just go over the outline. Remember, as you are going over the drawing, hold down your paper. You don't want it to move. All right, so when you're finished tracing over it, pick up your carbon paper and the photocopy, and you're going to have the outline of your painting. Simple as that. All right, so we're through with our pencil. It is time to start painting. So the first color we're going to paint in is the black. For this, I am going to start out with the size 8 filbert, and I'm going to start with the cauldron. Just go over the outline of those pencil marks, some black paint, and then start filling it in. Remember always to keep your brush strokes going in the same direction. This is what I like about filbert, is that tapered end. If you don't have a filbert, you can use a flat. And if the bigger size of a flat isn't working for you, move to a smaller one. I think a lot of you guys have paintbrush sets at home that you've picked up over the years, or if you've gone out and actually purchased a set just for the virtual class, you'll have various size paintbrushes in there. If one size isn't working for you, move to a different size. Because even in the class, when we do it in person, if the paintbrush sizes we've set out, it's not quite working for you, we do have different sizes, so you can go up smaller or larger. A lot of it just depends on personal preference, on what you're comfortable with. So with the filbert, since it has that tapered edge, I'm using that tapered point to get in to do my corners in pointy bits. Now something else I'm doing, if you've probably seen me doing, is I'm flipping my canvas, I'm moving it. That's something I find easier to do as I'm painting, is to move my canvas around. I also don't like using an easel. I like painting where the canvas is flat. So as you paint, you're going to find what works for you, what's comfortable for you. As while we're all painting the same thing, it's all going to be a little bit different, because all artwork is unique to the person painting, drawing, sketching, whatever your medium is. We all do the same thing, but we all get a different result because we're unique and different, and so is all of your paintings. All right. So
had a little more black than what I wanted on my paintbrush. Okay, so we have our cauldron. If you see any kind of spots, kind of go back over them, but we're gonna go back over with the black at the end. So right now, we are going to do our shoes. I know, I love these shoes. They're like totally like the Wicked Witch of the West shoes. And honestly, if I could ever find a pair with like the curly pointy toes and like the stacked heels, I'd probably get them and wear them. I just think they're cool. Okay. So with the shoes, I like to outline them. I'm still using that filbert, but you might want to switch to your liner for a moment, or even, yeah, I'm gonna switch to the liner. Because we're getting into something smaller, more detailed lines. And I just want that smaller brush. Yeah. That is working much better than the filbert for our pointy shoes. And we're just outlining, following, going over those pencil marks. Okay, so now that I have an outline, I'm going to go back to the filbert and go in and fill in shoe. Those wonderful pointing witchy shoes. And when I'm filling in, I'm just using the pointy end of the filbert. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm using just a little bit. one pointy witchy shoe complete. Okay, so I'm just kind of gonna flip my canvas. So like the square part, that is the buckle, and we're gonna be doing that yellow, and that's gonna be at the very end. All right, so I'm gonna put my filbert aside, and I am going to get my liner brush again. Get some black, and we're just going to outline our pointy witchy shoe. With the liner, I'm going to rinse it. Make sure, don't leave your paintbrushes in the water. Keep them rinsed and get the water and blot them out with the paper towel. Okay, and now I'm going to take that filbert again, and I'm going to just fill in the shape. Just keep your brush strokes going all one direction. Just keep enough paint on your paintbrush that it doesn't pull or drag the paint. And when I'm going in for close, small work like this, I'm not putting a lot of paint on my paintbrush once again. Just a little, because I can always go back and get more, but in a small space, it's hard to work with a lot of paint on that brush. You just won't. Just enough, that happy spot. Okay. Now I'm still using that 8 filbert, but if you don't have one, or you just find it too large, use a smaller size. Okay. Alright. Remember my canvas again. Alright. Alright. So I'm through with the black for the moment. I'm going to put the lid back on. I'm going to clean my brush. black, so I'm gonna rinse it again. Yeah. And you kind of want to just gently squeeze out the extra water. And when you're squeezing out that water, you want to make sure the water coming out of your brush is clear, as that means there's no more paint in the bristles of the paintbrush. All right, so we are going on to our stockings. So the stockings are going to be the green. You have two shades of green. You have a darker green and a light green. I am going to start with the darker green. I'm actually going to use my liner brush for this. So I'm going to use every other stocking segment. It's going to be dark green. Okay. Okay, and then the first stocking segment is dark green, and I'll skip one. And then this is going to be dark green. Just go over the pencil marks first. And then fill in the space. And our second witch leg, I'm going to start off with that dark green and cut in. Okay. And skip one. Do the outline and then just fill in. I am through with the dark green, so I will rinse my brush. Alright, so I'm going to take our light green and go over the rest of the stockings. One witchy leg done. Now see, this is coming out. It's not covering that pink as quite as well as I would like it. So what I'm going to do is finish the stockings, and I'm going to let it dry a moment, and then go back over it. So I want that to dry just for a moment. So while I have my liner brush, I am going to go ahead and get my yellow out, and I am going to paint my buckles. And I'm going to just go over. And I'm going to go over my green again. That is one nice thing about acrylics, is that it dries pretty fast. So just giving it a moment or two to kind of dry means you can add a second layer of paint pretty easily. Yeah, that second layer is gonna give it some more coverage. And I think I'm gonna go back over it with my dark green too. Okay. Now, I think I might do it. I go back over with that light green. Switch back to the filbert because I just want a little bit wider brush strokes. Okay, so I'm happy with the coverage as it is right now. If you want your colors to be like a little bit brighter, you can add another layer of green, or you can even add some white to like the lighter green to get it an even lighter green. Remember, if you ever want to darken a color, add a little bit of black. If you ever want to lighten a color, add a little bit of white. And I do mean a little bit. Start out with just a couple of drops. You can always add more, you cannot take away. Okay, so my witch legs are done. I'm gonna make sure my brushes are clean. Okay, so we're through with the green. We're gonna put that aside. We are going to need the purple, the white, and one of the greens. So now we are going to use the purple to create our frothing over bubbling cauldron concoction. And to do that, we're going to take our 8 filbert. Once again, we're going to load it up with purple. And we're going to start drawing bubbles, just circles in the cauldron. So you're going to just be doing circles. Don't worry if they're a little transparent, because we're going to be adding layers. This is basically just our first layer. Circles. So we want our cauldron, it's bubbling over, so we want it to come down. And we're just filling up that space right now. Pink and around the cauldron. Actually come down on the cauldron in a couple places. Not everywhere, but just, you know, our witch friend has lost control of her cauldron. It's bubbling over. She's fallen in. Or was she pushed in? Where's Dorothy in all this? That's the big question. And kind of look and decide, okay, is this, how far down do I want my bubbles to go? And how far do I want it to go out? Okay, and I think I'm gonna add just a little bit of bubble over here. Alright, I'm gonna kind of look at it far away. A little one there. Okay, so we kind of have all right. We have our general bubbling, oozing cauldron. I want to add one. Okay, I've decided, okay, I want to add another one here. I think here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Alright. Right. So clean their brush. And we're gonna get the white. And we're just gonna go back. And we're gonna go add some white and just into the center of some of our bubbles. Give them some depth. Just think of it as like, some of them you want a full circle in the center, some of them you're going to add like just like a little crescent moon. Just to give them some depth. Go. We're not using very much. I'm actually going to go in and take my purple again and go in and make circles again on top of my old ones. And this is going to add even more definition to our bubbling cauldron. And we're just going to make big bubbles. If you're picking up some of the green from the socks, that's okay too, as we're actually going to go back in and add some green. See? And you're gonna get some defined bubbles. I'm going to take my liner brush and I'm going to add a little white. I'm just going to go in and do like little crescent squigglies. And sometimes I'm doing a full circle, sometimes I'm doing a little half moon. It just depends on how big the bubble is, where I'm at. Basically just to kind of give our bubbles some more definition. So what we're using the white for, definition and highlighting. Center. Center, I'm not going. I'm going to do some white around the bubbles too. And this is just to kind of break up that purple. I'm going to add a white one every so often. So that way we have some individual bubble definition. Just go randomly around the bubbles. Sorry, bubbles. Some definition. So our bubbles have some definition, have some highlighting and shading. Okay. And I'm gonna add some green scribbles in there. I'm not going to add as much green as we did white. Okay. I'm just going to kind of add it. Around the white. And if it all blends together, that's fine too. Okay, so our green on our stockings has dried. I'm like, I want it just look at it. Just another layer. Okay. All right. So we are at the end stages of our painting. So what we're going to do now is go in and outline and fill in. Okay, so back out with your black. If you see any spots on your cauldron, just kind of fill it in. see some of that pink bleeding through. So I'm gonna want to get it. Okay. So So I've covered up all the pink, and now I'm going to take my liner brush and I'm going to make sure my edges are smoothed out. Alright, I'm going to flip my canvas and I am going to outline and go in and touch up my shoes. I see there's some pink some places. Okay, and then once I've made sure no pink is showing on my shoes, I'm going to take my liner brush and I'm just going to outline my shoes one more time. So I make sure I don't have any. Make sure all of my edges are smooth. I'm going to do that on the other shoe too. Make sure all of my edges are smooth. My pointy toe is pointy, because what would your wicked witch shoes be without a pointy tip? And something I kind of want my buckles to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going last stop is going to be our leggings. So we're going to take our lining brush and we're going to line our stockings. And basically we're just going to go back over where you can see the separate segment of the stocking legs. Of our canvas is done. If you have leftover paint, which you probably will, then just put the tops back on. As long as you keep the paint in airtight containers, it'll be good. Okay. All right. So, those of you who have came to the painting classes in real time know what's coming next. We are going to be splatter painting this as the final step. Okay, so the first color I want to do is white. I'm going to just get some white on my paintbrush. I'm going to put it in my water. I'm going to use my thumb and I'm just going to go run it over the bristles. Got a dollop of paint there. Okay. So I want some yellow. I don't have a whole lot of yellow, but here, so what is that? Might some water. And I'll splatter paint some yellow. I want a little bit of green. All right, so I think I have some bigger dots which we can just take off. All right, and so we have our painting splatter painted. And so our canvas is finished for this month. All right. All right, thanks for painting with me today. I look forward to seeing your witchy feats on Facebook. Please share your creations with us. Next month, we will be painting a tree at sunset. All right, until next time, bye.